cases are pretty long, so I don't think that would be unusual. If that's why he took the elevator and that,
Did he hit the ground in the elevator? Did it appear that he, collapsed inside of the elevator?
Yes, he was collapsed inside the elevator.
Sheriff, do you know?
I haven't been over, okay, go ahead.
Do you know when the last time he was seen alive and, at what point he had retired for the night at the house?
The information we have right now is that he was last seen about 8 o'clock Wednesday night,
Where was that?
at Paisley Park.
Sheriff or Mayor, just a question, have you met Prince before the mayor or the sheriff would like to answer? And if so, what was that interaction like, if you had met Prince before?
I did meet Prince, but it wasn't in my capacity as mayor. When I was in business, I had the pleasure of riding in an airplane with him. Our plane was waiting for departure, and there were 2 seats in front of me waiting for, they were empty, and very soon after that, the stewardess escorted Prince and a member of his entourage. So that was the only time I had an encounter. I didn't greet him, hello, and but as mayor of Chanhassen, I've never had a reason to or occasion to meet him.
Sheriff. And we would see Prince from a law enforcement standpoint occasionally. He would have concerts at Paisley Park, and we would help with some traffic assistance and those kinds of things. He lived in Chanhassen for a long time, and had 2 different residences that he lived in, not counting Paisley Park itself. So he had been a long-time member of the community, and really a good neighbor for everybody.
Were you a fan?
Sure, can you talk to his personal doctor?
So
You said there's no reason to believe that this was a suicide. Is there any reason to believe that foul play was involved?
we have no reason to believe that this time is a suicide. The rest of it's under investigation.
Sure, have you talked to his personal doctor, and couldn't a lot of the questions around medication be cleared up by talking to his doctor?
That's going to be part of the investigation. We'll certainly have contact with any medical personnel that he's had contact.
So again, have you talked to his doctor?
This investigation is 29 hours old. Our investigators are currently working on it. I have not talked to them in the past however long, so I don't know specifically who they have talked to, who they haven't.
Do you know
Sheriff, what floor was the elevator on?
You will be speaking with, do you have multiple?
I don't have that information. I don't know. He was on the first floor, whoever asked that question.
Sheriff,
Yes, ma'am.
are there any rumors that you would like to dispel at this time? About the nature of his death or any part of the investigation?
There have been so many rumors I've read about. I don't know if I can dispel all the rumors that are out there. And no, I mean, this is under investigation, and, yeah, this is under investigation.
And one more question, was a search warrant issued?
We did do a search warrant, yes. And that is also, would be normal protocol. Paisley Park is very large. It's hard to say who had control at the time, or who could have given us permission to process that scene. So we just thought it would be safer and better for us to get a search warrant on the front end to do that.
What did the
Sure,
search warrant cover?
The search warrant has not been filed as of yet, and will be filed in the next, probably next week and a half or so.
So the request that you made, what was it for?
To process the scene at Paisley Park. And or process it at Paisley Park, and I don't have a copy of that search warrant in front.
For the representative from the medical examiner's office, I want to ask you, the procedure you follow has different offices do different things. Some offices sometimes release some initial preliminary information that has nothing to do with the toxicology test. For example, that might give you an indication how long he had been dead when they found him. Are you going to have at least a preliminary report on some initial information before we get the toxicology thing, or?
The short answer is no. The explanation is that we are here in the capacity of serving the Carver County Sheriff's Office as part of their investigative team. And so we will complete our results, and on behalf of the Midwest Medical Examiner's Office, the office will not release any information until our results are complete. It is determined by the sheriff what his office chooses to release, whether it is preliminary as it comes in or when it is complete.
Was his body released to his sister Tina Nelson, and that's his only full-blood relative left, do you understand?
His body was released to his family.
So to be clear, do you not have a preliminary cause of death, or are you not willing to share it?
Our results are pending.
What do you expect the timeline to be for your report?
It could be days, depending on the type of test, and most likely weeks to have the complete set of results available to us. And that's when Midwest Medical Examiner's Office will release it.
Sheriff, how many investigators do you currently have working on this case, and how many agencies are working together to hold this together?
We've got, 3-4 agencies that are working on this, and I've got a number of detectives that are working on it. This is a very large, let me rephrase that. This is a high-profile case for us, but the county continues, life in the county continues to go on. And there's also other cases that we have that we are currently working on. I'm not sure exactly how many detectives I have working specifically on this case right now.
Sheriff, question over here, please,
Yes,
Fox News Channel. So the plane landed in Illinois, we know that. When he refused a room at the hospital, as reports kind of indicate now, are you looking into anything, was there anything unusual at MSP or wherever he landed then up here that you can talk about or that you know about? Can you dispel
I
anything
don't
around
know-
that?
I know as much about that currently that you do from reading the paper.
But I can address that for a moment.
Okay, thank you.
So again, I'm speaking on behalf of our chief medical examiner. And when we say that we're gonna be doing a complete exam, that not only includes the present state of the body that is brought to us, but also the medical history of the individual, the family medical history of the individual. So those types of things will be encompassed in the medical examiner's report that will be delivered to the sheriff for his investigation.
And which would, to include reaching back to Illinois, to the Quad Cities?
It will include his medical history, his social history, and his family's medical history as well.
Martha, tell me how the laws in Minnesota work. Do you have authority to get those medical records?
I would assume that they would request them as part of this investigation.
Yeah, between us and the medical examiner, absolutely. We do have access to them.
Sheriff, is the BCA helping you with this investigation at all?
At this point, we have not reached out to the BCA for assistance with this.
Is the Prince family cooperating with this investigation? Are they pretty willing and helping? Because I talked to a couple of family members yesterday, and they said they're trying to keep a lot of things kind of quiet. Are they working with you in any way?
Yeah, I've had contact with Prince's family and Prince's representatives, and they have been very cooperative. We haven't had any problems with that at all.
When you say no obvious signs of trauma, what does that mean? Like, what would be a sign of trauma? Like, what is it that you're clearing up?
Well, a sign of trauma would be some sign of violence or something violent that happened. There was no sign of that at all.
Sheriff, what happens to Paisley Park? Do you think it will?
That would be up to the estate. I'm not privy to that.
Just a question for medical examiner.
Hang on one second.
How long will the sheriff's office maintain a presence out at Paisley Park? Have those roadways closed, and there's no, how long will crowds be allowed to gather outside the complex?
We'll allow crowds to gather as long as they're on Paisley Park's property then?
Across the street?
Correct, yeah, that's part of Paisley's property then. And we'll allow them to gather as long as Paisley Park's okay. We'll reevaluate that until Monday morning probably anyway, and see where we're at and what's going on.
And road closures, will those continue through Monday?
Yes, that road is gonna be closed up until Monday.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Could you describe to us exactly what sort of tests your office would undertake on any case when there is an eyewitness death?
I'm sorry. I'll get out of your way.
So essentially, it will be a full panel of tests. There will be tissue samples done, and there will also be toxicology samples done based on blood draws. And that's based on the same level.
What is the spectrum of toxicology tests that you would normally undertake in a case like this?
A full spectrum, and that's most I'm going to say.
Sheriff, when you talked about the last time you had seen, was Wednesday night around 8 p.m., was he out, or was that just him being at home by members of his staff? Was he out and about in the community?
Somebody dropped him off at home, about 8 o'clock that night.
So it was the staff members that saw him last, or it was an acquaintance that you all spoke with that last saw him?
Yes, that is correct.
Sheriff?
It was an acquaintance that he was with before.
Sheriff, was it usual that he would be the only occupant of this huge complex? I mean, you said that staffers tried to get in contact with him and were unable to do that. Were there no security personnel?
Prince is a very private person. And I don't think that would be unusual for him to be there by himself.
Sheriff, you mentioned staff was trying to reach him. The person who actually made the 911 call, do you know their relationship? Are you able to share that?
911 callers' information is private, and I can't share that.
Was that a staff member or?
Again, 911 callers are private.
Sheriff, do you know if the elevator was inspected?
He was dressed at the time, if he was in day clothes or in his sleeping clothes, overnight clothes?
He was enclosed. I can't say I know for sure at this point what he sleeps in versus what he go out in. So I don't know for sure if they were sleep clothes or
What did he
what
have
type
on?
of clothes. You know, he had on a shirt, he had on pants, of some sort. He was dressed.
Sure, question here, was there an elevator phone? And if so, when was the last time this elevator was inspected? Do you have any of that information?
I don't believe there was an elevator.
Excuse me, sir.
I don't think so.
Are there any scenes outside of Walgreens and Paisley Park that are of interest to you or like you processing? For instance, the Pallady trouble.
If there are things that should lead us that direction, sure, we would certainly do that.
Not at this stage.
Pardon?
You're not aware of any at this stage.
If it's 29 hours old, our detectives are working on it, and I'm not sure where they're at right now.
On that note, have you requested any additional search warrants, and if so, where and when and who?
Yeah, we haven't done any additional at this point.
Prince apparently had other homes. Do you know how long he was living at Paisley Park, or how long he considered that a home address?
You know, Prince moved around a little bit and would travel quite often. I can't say for sure how long he had been there, but, you know, he did stay there for a while. And considered that, I think, his main address.
Sheriff, you said there were signs that he did collapse in the elevator. Was there any signs that he may have hit his head, or was it just a simple collapse?
There was no obvious signs of trauma to the body that we observed. Now, I don't know at this point what the medical examiner may have found during the autopsy, if anything would have shown, but there was nothing at all that indicated an obvious sign of trauma.
Can you give that to me?
Go ahead, Sam.
Was his cell phone there, and was there any kind of an indication that he had reached for his cell phone or made any attempt to call for help?
I don't recall seeing a cell phone in the close proximity. I don't recall a cell phone in the close proximity where he was at.
If some of his staff had cell phones, would you be checking their records or looking to see if there's any pictures?
That would be part of our investigation, and I don't make sure.
Sheriff, were you there yourself? Did you see the body yourself?
I was there for a period of time yesterday.
I mean, but when it was first discovered, were you there with the first group that was there?
No, I had other things that were going on.
How would you describe the mood? I mean, could you detect a mood inside Paisley Park at that moment when, obviously at that moment, the new Prince was there? What was the mood inside of the Paisley Park?
You know, it was certainly somber. You know, he was a friend, I think, to the people who were there as well as being an employer, and they were certainly shook by what had happened.
Sheriff, does your
Any
department?
staff members under investigation, any potential criminal charges?
This all continues to be under investigation, and we'll do a complete and thorough investigation, and it's better with this for us to do it well than for us to do it fast. So we're gonna do the best job at it.
Sheriff,
Sheriff, I wonder, does your department commonly carry the antidote for opiate or heroin overdose as a standard procedure, and was that dispatched on this call?
All of our officers carry Narcan. We've been carrying that for approximately 2 years, and that was not used at all yesterday. And I heard somebody over this direction.
sure.
Okay.
Sheriff, the person who did make the 911 call, staff member apparently from the transcript did not know the address, didn't know the address of where they were?
I don't know if that would be unusual with that, for not knowing the address. I mean, you know, I'm sure they knew where it was. I'm sure there's probably a number of people out here that don't necessarily know the address to their news buildings and so on, so